This morning we started nice and early. I started at 6 o'clock moving the logs to get the log pile out of the way. And then Matt came and together we did the stumps. And then I went to have breakfast while Matt was continued moving the stumps into the forest. And then I came back and I finished moving the pile. We kind of have to do this back and forth because we're kind of blocked on the tractor time. So we're trying to kind of be as efficient as possible and making sure we run the tractor pretty much all the time for the tasks that it needs to be done. And excavator is making good progress. Today he started stripping the topsoil off so that we can see what kind of topsoil and what kind of ledge we have. So today's task for the excavator is to strip the topsoil, and look at that big pile that he's on top of. He's pretty much done with that. So what we're gonna do then, these trees are still gonna have to come out. So you'll help us felling them, and then he can take out the remaining stumps out of this area. And first I'll get this debris into the wagon so that we can take it in the forest and it's not in the way. Our faces probably look disgusting, but it was worth it after whole days of hard work.
I feel like I've been clearing stumps with my face right now. You get so sweaty, and then you're like wiping your face down with a dirty glove, and all the dirt as you're driving the tractor is coming off the stumps. It has been a pretty exhausting day, but I feel like we've accomplished so much. Yes. It's been a huge day.
And the excavator is doing its job, but also we are also, a big part of it. So today our focus was taking the stumps away.
Yeah, so everything that's happened yesterday and today has just been one person with an excavator from the construction company, and then us cleaning up. And the amount that he's been able to do with that excavator is just unreal.
Yeah.
Yesterday pulled all the stumps. Today stripped off all of the topsoil.
Made a very big mound.
Made this giant mound with a monument. He found a rock that kind of looked a little bit like Vermont and stuck it in the top as a bit of a monument, which I think is super cool. That pile, I mean, that must be, 30 feet tall or something? It's
impressive.
It's absolutely huge. He's also been doing a great job shaking off a load of the dirt on the stumps to make it easier for me to lift on the tractor. Diana has been crushing it today, helping to load loading the small trailer we have.
Yeah, so we went through different iterations of like how we're taking the stumps to the forest. First, we went to the original, yesterday we went to the original, like, further in spot, then we decided that's too far. Then we found a different one that's closer.
And I think part of that reason is because last time we checked that spot out was winter. And so in winter, it actually looked a lot easier to get to because there was no foliage. So you're like, oh, this is really easy to drive on. There was snow on the ground. It felt really smooth. Going there yesterday, it's a slow 20-minute kind of drive in there.
Yeah.
Super bumpy. Super tight, foliage everywhere, getting slapped in the face with saplings and things. So yeah, we quickly realized that wasn't going to work.
Yeah. So found another spot that's closer, much closer, but even then was very bumpy and steep to get into that, and we couldn't really get in there with the trailer.
It was like a side trail off our trails that we've been tempted to try and get into for a while. We've hiked it once or twice. We did manage to reverse the trailer in there once. It probably took 5 or 10 minutes just for that tiny little stretch. And it's like, that was just going to kill me, trying to do that 10, 20 times a day or something. It was just going to be brutal. So then we turned to a third location, which is really easy to get to. It's just along all the main trails, parts that we've wood chipped, so it's not dusty under the tractor as you're driving along. It's not too bumpy.
It's the area we call the junction.
We call it the junction. Dead easy to get to. So we built up these stumps right next to the main trail, which we didn't want to do. We didn't want to build up the stumps in an area that's just so visible. But I'm kind of like, well, one, necessity has twisted our arm here, and we don't really have a lot of choice. We've just got to get them somewhere away from here, and that's about the best option. But I'm also kind of proud of like that pile. It shows what we've accomplished, it shows what we've done, and it'll just be a reminder to us as all the sweat equity that went into this build. And it'll also be really interesting to see how nature takes that pile over.
And how long it takes for that pile to get smaller, and are the animals going to start living in there. But as you know, that stuff will break down in the forest, and that's good for the forest.
Yeah. So all in, today has been a phenomenal day. We also pulled down a load more trees. We were very mindful of Diana's kale in the raised bed, and we pulled down about
12, I think.
12 trees, was it?
Yeah.
I had the chainsaw with an excavator assist, so a little bit of back pressure on each tree, so I could just fly through those cuts, knowing exactly where the tree was going to fall. So that made it really quick. The excavator then piled up a pile of logs that we bucked, and then all the tops of the trees, which is probably going to be a solid half day for us to chip.
Yeah.
We've probably still got the stumps you can see behind me. There's probably still a day's worth of tractoring into the forest and back, maybe half a day to a day maybe, to get rid of all of those. And some of them, this front section here, they're just too big for our tractor. We've tried, and the tractor just cannot lift them. It's mainly the bigger hardwoods, the bigger birches and maples in particular.
They're heavy.
So when they're back with either a truck, they're going to load them in the truck and take them away for us, or they have a skid steer and a grapple that can lift way more than our tractor can. They'll just grab those and go and dump them out back for us as well. So we've got a decent amount of cleanup. However, we're making good progress over here. We've now got a path to what will become our well. So I don't know if it's visible on the video or not. Over here, you may be able to see a stake with a blue tape on. That's where our well will be located. And this construction team has worked very closely with the well drilling team that we're using as well, and pun not intended. And they're going to drill the well over there. So they now have good enough access to get their truck in, which is great because it means we can schedule that as soon as we're confident in the final grade over there, which is kind of the open question. And the reason for that is if you look behind me, you can see just how uneven this ground is. There's sections like this here where there's really loose ledge. This is maybe a foot, 2 feet beneath the surface in places. This is what they hit here. Further back, there's just a big outcrop that's just solid. Other places it goes deeper and ledge doesn't appear until 3 feet down. But we've got ledge, the bedrock around here, everywhere, really shallow, on average about 2 feet down. And so finding the right grade is really tricky. Some areas we're going to have to build up, other areas we're going to have to cut down, and excavating down into that ledge is really hard work. It's really slow going. The only good thing is our ledge appears to be really crumbly. Ledge is really common in this area, but it's not always as crumbly as this. So we are kind of lucky that it seems so far they're being able to peel into it. They're hoping that a lot of our trenches where we need to go 3, 4, 5 feet deep, that they're going to be able to use a rock hammer on either their Bobcat or, if they need it, on the excavator. But in terms of setting the grade for the buildings, we want to kind of work with the landscape rather than fighting it too much. And that means the grade for the well isn't quite known yet. However, all in, really happy. We're not sure if they're going to be back tomorrow yet. They've got a few other jobs that they're working on. If they're not, it's not a problem. We have a ton of work now here to be doing to get things cleaned up, ready for the next phase.